Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP today. Marc Márquez's 2025 campaign is shaping into one of the most remarkable comebacks in modern motorsport. The six-time MotoGP world champion, now clad in Ducati red, has reignited his legacy with a blistering start to the season, so much so that former mentor and Honda boss Alberto Puig has proclaimed that winning this title would go beyond MotoGP and become a defining global sporting feat for someone who once witnessed Marquez's struggles firsthand. Puig's words resonate with awe and admiration. Ducati may still be unbeaten in 2025, but the foundations of their dominance have started to tremble. After Fabio Quartararo disrupted Ducati's perfect record by snatching pole and finishing second at the Spanish Grand Prix, Ducati CEO Claudio Domenicali has issued a rare warning. The message? The grid is closing in, and Yamaha is leading the charge. It was more than just a podium in Jerez for Fabio Quartararo, it was a signal. A quiet paddock exchange and a wave of engineering influence suggest Ducati's dominance might be seeding its own demise. With technical talent migrating and secrets slipping across garages, the MotoGP field may be on the verge of major recalibration. In the wake of this year's dramatic starts, Jorge Martin's injury setbacks and the infamous Austin tire melee, MotoGP's rule makers have stepped in with new regulations aimed at rider safety, fairness, and clarity. While Aprilia will welcome the revised injury return protocols, Marc Márquez and his rivals will need to adapt to stricter tire and pit procedures born from last weekend's chaos. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Few individuals know Marc Márquez better than Alberto Puig. Puig oversaw Marquez's rise from prodigy to dominant force, but also stood by during the darkest chapter of the Spaniard's career, his catastrophic arm injury at Jerez in 2020 and the long, painful path that followed. Now, as Marquez mounts a title challenge with Ducati, Puig remains a close observer, acknowledging just how deep the scars run from those lost years. He had a lot of difficulties with his arm, and whoever was there at the time was aware of that, Alberto Puig said. After missing out on consistent competition for nearly 4 seasons due to complications, surgeries, and setbacks, few believed Marquez would ever return to his former form. But in 2025, armed with the Ducati Desmosedici and a new lease on racing, he's back at the front. Puig, recalling the mental and physical battles Marc endured, stressed how the very act of being competitive again is a victory in itself, a testament to his willpower and resilience. But to win the crown? That would elevate Marquez to a realm beyond legends. What he has been able to accomplish is an achievement in itself, but to win the 2025 World Championship would be a truly global sporting feat. With 3 wins from the opening 5 races and an unbeaten sprint record, Marc Márquez is now just 1 point behind the championship leader. His crash in the Spanish GP may have cost him precious points, but it hasn't slowed his momentum, or the rising belief that this year could mark the greatest comeback the sport has seen. For Puig, who once helped build Marquez's empire at Honda, the idea that his former rider could reclaim the title after a 5-year drought is more than inspiring, it's borderline mythical. To triumph again at an advanced age would be incredible. This kind of person is really special. If Marquez clinches the 2025 championship, he will equal Valentino Rossi's tally of 7 Premier Class titles, a number steeped in legacy, rivalry, and greatness. Including his Moto2 and 125 cubic centimeters crowns, that would bring Marquez level with Rossi's 9 world titles overall. Beyond the numbers, the narrative is what makes this moment monumental. A once dominant rider, sidelined and doubted, now standing at the gates of immortality. And if Puig's instincts are right, history is about to be rewritten. In the end, he was absent from the top positions for 4 to 5 years, so to triumph again would be incredible. Marc Márquez's 2025 season is no longer just about winning, it's about redefining what is possible in sport. With every lap, He chips away at the doubts, the pain, the time lost. And if he stands atop the world again come November, it won't just be a MotoGP title. It will be the completion of one of the greatest comebacks the sporting world has ever seen. It was a weekend filled with silver linings and subtle alarms. While Ducati continued their sweeping success with Alex Marquez taking victory in Jerez, stretching their Sunday win streak to 22 races, they saw a streak broken elsewhere. Yamaha's Fabio Quartararo denied Marc Márquez pole position and brought home second place, ahead of Ducati's Pecco Bagnaia. This was no fluke. Domenicali recognized that something significant had shifted. This Sunday, Fabio Quartararo showed his strength, and that means the other manufacturers are working hard, Claudio Domenicali said. Ducati's dominance didn't arise overnight. It was built on years of development and rider synergy. But Domenicali pointed out that the current playing field isn't exactly level. With Yamaha and Honda benefiting from the reintroduced concession rules in 2024, they've been granted more testing time, engine developments, and greater adaptability throughout the season. While Ducati races under tighter restrictions, their rivals are gaining ground fast. Not everyone remembers that we're not competing in a championship with the same rules. Quartararo's second-place finish wasn't just a podium, it was a statement. It marked Yamaha's first top three since 2023 and broke a long drought for Japanese manufacturers. Meanwhile, Honda's Johann Zarco secured a top 5 in Qatar, another sign that the balance of power may slowly be tipping. Ducati may have won every race so far in 2025, but Domenicali's tone has shifted from celebration to caution. I think this gap will narrow, and the other manufacturers will also catch up with us. Ducati's grip on MotoGP is still tight, 3 straight constructors' titles and a flawless 2025 season so far. But Jerez has made it clear, the challengers are coming. From KTM's brief spark in Qatar to Yamaha's resurgence, the rest of the grid smells blood. As Domenicali rightly acknowledged, dominance isn't eternal, and every era meets its reckoning. This is the fruit of work that began a long time ago, but now others are catching up. Ducati may still be the team to beat, but the red tide is facing its first real resistance in years. Fabio Quartararo's return to form, Honda's gradual revival, and KTM's flashes of brilliance all suggest one thing: the MotoGP grid is no longer content to chase. They're ready to strike. And for the first time in a long while, Ducati knows it. Quartararo's stunning pole and P2 finish in Jerez lit up the paddock, and didn't go unnoticed by Yamaha's newest weapon, Max Bartolini. The former Ducati engineer, now Yamaha's technical director, has already made his presence felt. His warm embrace with fellow Ducati defector Fabiano Sterlicchini, now at Aprilia, sparked a theory that Yamaha and Aprilia may both be working from the same internal Ducati playbook. Those secrets from Ducati have filtered down to Yamaha, they will gradually filter to Aprilia. It's game on, Michael Laverty said. As strong as the bike may be, Quartararo's brilliance is still the engine of Yamaha's resurgence. He controlled the pace at Jerez, held off the relentless charge of Bagnaia, and left his own teammate trailing nearly 20 seconds behind. Even Bagnaia acknowledged that Quartararo was doing an amazing job, despite piloting a slower machine. Technical upgrades matter, but in this case, so does grit. That was a rider riding on the absolute limit, Neil Hodgson said. The Ducati to Aprilia technical pipeline could become a key development axis, especially with Jorge Martin waiting in the wings. Aprilia's own technical director, Fabiano Sterlicchini, also once wore Ducati red. His reunion with Bartolini in the Jerez paddock wasn't just nostalgic. It might foreshadow a convergence of know-how that benefits both Quartararo and Martin in the long run. It's so nice to see Yamaha able to fight. There is more to come, Michael Laverty added. Quartararo's momentum doesn't end in Jerez. At Le Mans, the Frenchman will debut an updated version of Yamaha's inline-4 engine. It's still not the V4 they're developing, but Quartararo claims it already has more punch than what he used in Spain. With confidence, local support, and sharper machinery, Le Mans could be another major leap forward. It's more powerful than the engine I used to soar into P2 in Jerez, Fabio Quartararo concluded. From the shadows of Ducati's technical empire, a new challenge is rising. Quartararo, armed with insider knowledge and backed by a resurgent Yamaha, is turning theory into results. And with Aprilia potentially gaining the same edge, the MotoGP grid is no longer just chasing Ducati, it's learning from it. To spare injured riders the shock of leaping straight from trainers to a full-blown GP bike, the championship has now formalized an optional test. Any rider missing 3 consecutive Grands Prix, or sidelined for at least 45 days, may book a private session at a neutral circuit not on the calendar within 8 weeks of their return, with up to 3 Michelin tire sets supplied. Last weekend in Texas, mixed conditions triggered an unprecedented stampede to the pits when Marc Márquez and others gambled on a dry tire second bike. The start sequence was aborted, causing lengthy delays and confusion. To prevent repeats, race direction has now drawn a firm line in the sand on late race bike changes. Under the revised protocol, any setup change or bike swap must be finalized by the 1-minute board before the warm-up lap. Riders electing to make adjustments after that cutoff will start from pit lane, and must complete 2 long laps once the race is underway. To address the peculiarities of mixed surface starts, the rules now explicitly allow entrants to pit at the end of the warm-up lap in a declared wet race, or once the white flag is shown, fit wet tires and revised setups, then rejoin from pit lane without further penalty. They will be able to enter the pits at the end of the warm-up lap to change their setup, starting from the pit lane without penalty. Regulation note: with these changes in place, riders and teams must now strategize under a new framework, safer injury returns, cut and dry tire protocols, and definitive pit lane deadlines. As the paddock heads to Le Mans, expect sharper tactical battles, and far fewer last-second gambles. Thanks for watching ZNGP today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!